Tonight on Newswatch, Nelsonville city leaders are trying to find compromise on who the city attorney should be.
Plus, finding affordable housing is getting more and more difficult in Athens. We sit down with a Post reporter about what the city is doing to help.
And in sports, the Nelsonville York Buckeyes welcome Wellston in for its last home game of the season. Newswatch starts right now. Nelsonville City Council is meeting this weekend to decide on who should be the city's attorney. Good evening, I'm Ethan Sargent.
And I'm Alex and Wally. Welcome to Newswatch. Now, the council will discuss hiring a new city attorney in a special session tomorrow. This comes after two special meetings were held earlier this week. In Monday's special meeting, the council introduced an ordinance to officially remove attorney Jonathan Robe. Now, the council is looking to appoint Matthew Voltolini as the city's law director. But the city charter says it is up to the city manager to appoint the city attorney, but the council can appoint an attorney when necessary. When WOUB reached out to the city manager to ask about the situation, but the calls have not been returned in time for the broadcast. Logan residents may have to travel outside the city for access to recreational marijuana. That's because of a proposed ordinance that would ban recreational dispensaries in the city. If passed, the proposed ordinance would be allowed by a section of the Ohio Revised Code addressing legalization. It would not affect the city's decriminalization law, which allows up to 200 grams possession of marijuana. The law was passed through a voter-led initiative in 2016, and a final vote would most likely not take place until March. Public health experts are continuing to warn of the potential risks associated with Delta 8. America's Poison Centers reported a jump in calls over the cannabis compound. These products are often used to help with sleep, anxiety, or pain. And while their intoxication effects are generally less intense than some other products, they can cause adverse effects such as hallucinations, vomiting, and dizziness. Public health experts say that users may think they're taking something milder than they really are. Athens receives millions of dollars to help rehab the Stimson Avenue Bridge. The state is providing $1.4 million toward replacing the bridge's deck, streetlights, and substructure. The city received a similar grant for the project in June. That one was for $3.29 million. Work on the bridge is expected to begin next year with a total cost of around $4.3 million. Ohio lawmakers will present two bills later this year to help bring passenger rail across the state. Ohio pulled out of the Midwest Interstate Passenger Rail Commission in 2013. Then, at the end of last year, the Federal Railroad Administration agreed to fund the first phase of studies for 4 proposed Amtrak lines in Ohio. As the state prepares for the potential long-term project, rail advocates want Ohio to reclaim its seat among the commission. The House's version of the bill will be introduced in the next month or so.
Ohio State University is the latest to join a long list of schools who have pushed back the deadline to apply for financial aid. The university announced students and families will now have to wait until March 15th to submit the free application for federal student aid, better known as FAFSA. This is a month later than the previous February 15th deadline. Other colleges in Ohio like Wright State University and Ohio University are also extending deadlines, moving theirs to March 1st. The extension are because the U.S. Department of Education is not providing students financial aid applications until early March. If you still need to complete your or your student's FAFSA, head to student8.gov. And Alex, it's been really warm outside. I almost forgot it was February.
I know. I walked outside my apartment this morning. I was like, winter skipped us here in Athens. So Emily, please tell us more about what's going on in terms of weather today.
For sure. I mean, I at least enjoyed the week of warm weather, or at least today. It was really nice outside, especially with that sunshine. I don't know about you guys if you really enjoyed it, but we're starting to see a little bit of a shift in those warm conditions outside. Right now we're looking at 57 degrees, so definitely quite different from what we've been seeing in the past couple of weeks. And skies are really starting to clear up here down in southeast Ohio, so it's looking really nice outside, and I hope you all got to enjoy this beautiful Friday. Now across the state, we are seeing very similar temperatures, with Lancaster about 58 degrees, Zanesville about 59. So overall, really nice conditions across the state. And unfortunately, these won't be hanging around that long, and especially those clear skies. That's really going to be shifting as we move into these next couple of hours. As we have, you can see this really nice cloud belt starting to come up from the south into Ohio, and with that will be coming some rain. We're already starting to see some rain down near Kentucky and especially down in our friends in the southern states. So things are going to be shifting. So I hope you got the chance to enjoy that beautiful sunshine while it was still hanging around. As for tonight, we're going to see an overnight low of 51 degrees, mainly due to that cloud layer still being around, keeping in a lot of that warm weather, and we're going to see a 50% chance of showers. Stay tuned for my full forecast. We're going to take a look at when this rain will be impacting you.
Thanks, Emily. Now, high school basketball is thriving in Southeast Ohio, and there are a number of key matchups that we want to look out for tonight.
That's right, Alex. And here to break things down live from Nelsonville, York, is Hardwood Heroes lead reporter Donovan Varney.
At Ben Wagner Gymnasium to see the Nelsonville York Buckeyes take on Wellston in a classic TVC Ohio matchup. The last time these two teams met was back in January, and the Buckeyes got the best of the Golden Rockets, stealing a road win 67-46. And tonight, they're hoping to do much of the same. This is their last home game of the season, so we're going to see how things go down. The Golden Rocket defense is going to have to step up against seniors Andrew Connor and Keegan Swope tonight if they want a solid chance. The last time around, Connor dropped 22 points, going 4 for 5 from deep, while Swope added 14, 7, and 7. The Buckeyes are 7-3 in front of their home crowd this season and are coming off of a huge 31-point victory against Alexander on Tuesday, while Wellston is coming off of a 63-24 loss against Waterford also on Tuesday. I fully expect tonight's matchup to be an exciting one for both teams. Now, sticking in the Ohio, we also have the second-place Megs Marauders traveling to Alexander to take on the Spartans tonight. The Marauders have been stung by the injury bug all season. 4 of their 5 starters from week 1 are either out for the season or limited because of injury. As the playoffs quickly approach, they'll be looking to get those that have stepped up some more reps before tournament time. As the final week of the regular season approaches, here's a look at the standings around the TVC Ohio. Benton County holds the top spot, remaining undefeated in the conference thus far, going 10-0. Megs is not far behind with an 8-1 record. And then there's NY and Wilson at 3rd and 4th place, only separated by 1 game. A win tonight for either Nelsonville York or Wilson will likely propel the victor over the other in the standings, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what goes down. Now, let's take a peek into the TVC hockey. We have Belpre hitting the road to face Trumbull. The Golden Eagles bested the Tomcats by 7 the last time they met in the hardwood, but this time they don't have home court advantage. Trumbull's had nearly a week's rest going into this one and will be hoping to use that in their favor. While Belpre, on the other hand, is looking for redemption after a devastating loss to Warren on Tuesday. As for this next game, we have an Eagles team that's on a 3-game losing streak and a Wildcats team that's on a 3-game win streak. I'd expect to see Eastern come into this one looking to flip the script and hopefully get some momentum before the playoffs. As for Waterford, they'll utilize their 3-and-D scheme with Jared Armstrong in order to keep the ball rolling. And finally, here's a look at the standings across the Hocking. Federal Hocking and Belpre are tied for first place, with each team possessing a 7-1 record in the conference. At the 3rd place spot is Trimble, sitting 2 games behind with a 5-3 record. And then there's Waterford in 4th place at 4-4. The Wildcats have hopes of making a late push if they win tonight against Eastern. Now that's all we have for sports tonight. Back to you guys in the studio.
Wow, looks like a full slate of games across TVC tonight. It was rocking.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me tell you.
Thank you so much, Donovan. Now, speaking of sports, coming up after the break, the Super Bowl is just 2 days away. But how can you stay healthy and off the sideline?
And Athens residents are struggling to find adequate, affordable housing in the city.
Weather this weekend will be shifting from the warm conditions we've seen this week. Be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to find out what this weather shift will mean for you.
Are you ready? The best and brightest artists in R&B and gospel take the stage for one memorable night.
I'm a soldier. Gospel is my foundation.
It's a celebration of faith.
We're honoring the legacy of praise and worship through song.
Well, since we're celebrating Jesus, give God a hand of praise.
Join me, Henry Louis Gates Jr. for Gospel Live.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
I want you to fasten your seatbelt.
You cannot
chart your own path if you don't know where you came from. For me, it was an opportunity to face my own truth.
This is our community. We don't want our history to stop.
Palm Springs grown, and we want to be part of the community.
You feel it deep down in your soul.
This is stuff that we need in order to feel whole.
I wouldn't be here without gospel.
All this and more, only on PBS.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, when it comes to value, the details make all the difference.
If you look at Luke, that's a double telescoping lightsaber. That's extremely rare, and most people would never even notice it.
One of the most important people of the 20th century, Jackie Robinson. This is considered his rookie card.
Oh, wow.
You have 3 of them.
Don't miss Antiques Roadshow from Old Sturbridge Village in Massachusetts.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
Fasten your seatbelts.
This is amazing.
Wow.
Did you vote? It feels like I have a home.
These are your immigrant ancestors.
This is wild.
Never anticipated this.
I am forever changed.
I'm pleased to tell you you're going to be finding your roots.
Are we really this close?
I can't tell you what we found, but what we found was you.
We're just 2 days away from Super Bowl 58, and if you're tuning in, chances are you're also going to be surrounded by snacks.
That's right, and whether it's wings, pizza, or chili, health experts are urging you to keep your food safe. Mandy Gaither has some tips to make sure you don't get sidelined by Super Bowl snacks.
Whether you're watching for the football, the commercials, or tuning in to see your girl Taylor, chances are you're also loading up on Super Bowl snacks, but make sure that food doesn't cause you to fumble.
Foodborne illness in America is a serious issue.
To avoid getting sick, the U.S. Department of Agriculture says not to keep perishable foods out at room temperature for more than 2 hours, and make sure to keep hot food hot and cold food cold.
Keeping your food at 140 degrees or higher, or if you have items that need to be chilled, place them in bowls that are nestled in ice to keep them chilled.
And don't forget that food thermometer. Foodsafety.gov lists safe minimal internal temperatures, which vary based on the food you're cooking. To avoid cross-contamination, keep hands, counters, cutting boards, and utensils clean, especially when handling raw meat and poultry. Separate leftovers in small containers in the refrigerator. They chill easier that way.
Leftovers are good for 4 days. On the 4th day, you got to decide if you're going to eat it, toss it, or freeze it.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now, the USDA says to also be cautious about food deliveries or pickups. If you plan to eat the food later, make sure to keep it refrigerated or that a heating source is keeping it warm.
And the Super Bowl is much more than just the most popular sporting event in the United States, but it's also the most popular day for gambling. The American Gaming Association says that this year, 67.8 million Americans are expected to wager on the big game. That's a 35% increase from last year, making it likely the biggest year for Super Bowl gambling yet. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says with all the excitement of the big game, it's important to gamble responsibly.
League to do our own spots on responsible gambling to make sure our fans understand the dangers of irresponsible gambling.
Although the players can't bet on the game, many say they hope to win the jackpot in the game this year.
Okay, there's parties, sporting events, and so much more happening over the next few days. So Emily, what kind of weather can we expect for this upcoming weekend?
For sure. Well, it's going to be a great day to stay inside and watch the Super Bowl. That's what I'm planning on doing on Sunday. We're going to start off with a bit of a rainy day on Saturday, but then as we get to Sunday, we'll see some cloudy weather. Things will cool down a little bit. It'll be quite different from what we're seeing right now. In fact, right now we're looking at temperatures about 57 degrees outside, so definitely quite different from what we've been seeing the past couple of days, even the past couple of weeks. Really warm outside, and if you got the chance to go outside, I hope you enjoyed all of that beautiful sunshine and the clear skies that we are currently starting to see right now. Now we're going to see a bit of a shift in this temperature. So right now across the U.S., about in the south a little bit, we're going to see a bit of a shift as we have a cold front sitting right along the central Great Plains area, and you can see a lot of this cold weather right behind it, and there's that cold front right along there. Right behind it, we have this whole pocket of cold air, and this is where we're seeing a lot of that warm air. A lot of that is coming from this high pressure, which is circulating, pulling that warm air up from the Gulf. But we also have a bit of a shift with our cloud coverage, so you can really see this cloud band really arcing across the south. That's going to butt right up against this cold front, helping to create a lot of the precipitation that we're currently seeing down in the south, and will be eventually moving up into Ohio. This is a really great map for you to see just how these clouds are moving, carrying a lot of that moisture across the southern central U.S. up into Ohio these next couple of days. But what does that mean for us tonight? Well, tonight, since we have that cloud coverage, that's going to act as a layer of insulation, so we'll be seeing overnight conditions about 51 degrees outside, so definitely warmer, a lot better than the single digits we were seeing a couple weeks ago. But we'll also be seeing a 50% chance of showers starting around 11 o'clock midnight, carrying about 1 in the morning, and then we'll get a little bit of a break. But taking a look ahead for what we can expect to see on Saturday, there's a look at the system that's going to be moving in tonight, and there's that big system that'll be moving in tomorrow morning. So we'll expect to see that rain start to happen around 1 in the morning. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The first system will be ending around 1 in the morning, and the second system will be starting around 7 or 8 in the morning and carrying on till about 9 or 10. So tomorrow we'll have that 90% chance of showers in the morning with that high of 62. So even though we have that cold front coming through, we're going to see that warm weather start off first, and then we'll start to see our overnight conditions reflected with that cold front. And there's a good look at that cold front and how that rain is really going to move right along it tomorrow, and especially into tomorrow night. So we may see a little bit of rain tomorrow night as well, especially as this low pressure system starts to come up from the south, really carrying a lot of rain with it. And here's a good look at how that's going to be moving on from Sunday. So Sunday, we may or may not see this in the evening hours. It'll be very spotty depending on where you are in Ohio. If you're in our southern part of our state, you'll see a more likely chance of rain, such as 70%, versus if you're in the central U.S. But this is going to carry on into Monday, and so Monday we'll more likely to see that chance of rain happen. So Saturday and Sunday, that's when we also start to see that shift in temperature, go from about 60 to 50 degrees, and Monday we see that rain start to pick up again, and things are back down into the 40s and cloudy for the week. So I really hope you got the chance to go outside and enjoy this beautiful day today, because it'll also be getting overnight conditions will also be starting to chill down as we'll be back in the upper 20s. Back over to the desk.
Thank you so much, Emily. Now, wild weather that pummeled the Midwest overnight has many people starting the weekend cleaning up their homes. And while grappling with severe storms is something that many in the Midwest are used to, what happened yesterday was anything but normal. Laura Aguirre has more on the unique conditions behind the historic weather event.
Tornado hit and everything exploded.
Not just any tornado, but the first ever February tornado to touch down in Wisconsin, say weather experts.
The windows blew out, the downstairs, it was rumbling like a train.
Lots of shingles missing.
Yeah, the whole front of the house is gone for the shingles.
And it wasn't just one, but at least 3 twisters were confirmed to have churned through the Midwest late Thursday. The one in Wisconsin and 2 others in Illinois. They were spawned in part, forecasters say, by unseasonably warm temperatures across the region. The highs in some places reaching into the 50s and 60s. And as if winter tornadoes weren't enough, large hail also peppered several areas, the largest reported in Wisconsin at 1.5 inches in diameter.
We're in the laundry room, and all of a sudden we heard the hail, and then all of a sudden,
we have some gas leaks in a couple areas, as well as a lot of down power lines, a lot of trees down.
And those widespread power outages make assessing property damage and any cleanup effort all the more challenging for storm victims. The same wave of record warmth that spurred this storm system is now tracking toward the northeast, and meteorologists predict temperatures there on average will be 15 to 30 degrees higher than normal on Saturday. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Laura Aguirre.
Next, we sit down with a reporter from the Post about what the city is doing to help bring affordable housing to the city. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and YouTube.
We cover all the angles. We report the facts. We find clarity. PBS is here, delivering the credible, reliable, thoughtful election coverage you need to make informed decisions. PBS, your trusted election source.
We're creating a mixed income community. Being low income shouldn't bar you from experiencing a higher quality of life.
I have grown up in a journalism environment where I was frequently the only woman in the room.
At some point, a row of trees went in.
I feel segregated. They were planted to hide this community.
We live in a virtual reality world. Everybody everywhere knows what's going on. So people are aware that there's a problem here.
I wanted her story told, and I felt good that I was the one that was able to tell it.
I know how to do other things to survive.
Rise up and say, you know what? Enough is enough.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
An ongoing concern for many Athens residents is finding an affordable place to live in the city. And a study found from National Low-Income Housing Coalition found to afford a 2-bedroom rental in Athens County, you would need to have 1.8 minimum wage jobs. Allison Patton, a news reporter from the Post, spoke with city leaders about the issue and how they hope to help. Thanks so much for joining us, Allison.
Yeah.
So you talk about the lack of affordable housing options. What did you find specifically?
So a lot of the housing here is for students. I spoke with Shay Myers from the Affordable Housing Commission. He's also an architect from Solstice. And he said that the city code is written in a way that makes housing for landlords charged by the room. So a 4-bedroom house for students with 4 people in it is about $500 a room, and that's $2,000 per house, which a house of that size for a family is about half the price.
Yeah, so what obstacles has Athens faced in trying to provide affordable housing in the past?
So in 2019, the city was going to build at a neighborhood in the University Estates, but COVID hit and the estimated project price almost tripled in size since 2019.
Yeah, so what is Mayor Patterson doing to address this issue, and why is it such an important issue for him?
Yeah, so Mayor Patterson actually, when he started here as a professor in 1998, he spent about 10 years looking for affordable housing. And then he finally found a house, and so this issue kind of sits close with him. And he's looking at with the Affordable Housing Commission through the city to build utilize the space up at the Ridges.
Yeah, it's really interesting that that story connects back to the mayor of our town. And you mentioned the Affordable Housing Commission. Who exactly are they, and what are they doing to try and help the problem?
So the Affordable Housing Commission is like a commission for city council, and they're looking for affordable housing in the city. But they were hit hard by COVID, and so they're kind of just now getting started back up and getting back into the swing of things.
Super interesting. So what are some things that what are some resources that people could potentially look for as they search for affordable housing?
Yeah, so there is a project up at the Ridges that could be coming into play. But the only issue with that is that a developer has to pick up the project up at the Ridges. But if they do, it could be about 700 units of housing that the city could utilize. Other than that, maybe even just moving farther out into the city or into Athens County, and that just means you have a commute to work.
Yeah, and also, what potentially could people look for when they're looking for affordable housing?
So affordable housing is about 30% of your income. And if you want to stay in that range, Shay Myers from the Affordable Housing Commission says good luck.
Thank you so much. And to read Allison's full story, you can go to thepostathens.com and look under the news section. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Still ahead, communities are preparing for a once-in-a-lifetime event right here in Ohio. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Sometimes we have to look that monster right in the face. Show we're not afraid of it anymore.
Love is the best thing we have. It's the only thing we have.
No more secrets. I just want to be right here in this moment as you.
I trust nothing untoward has occurred.
Bright things ahead, darling. Brightness and joy.
Those that underestimate us should do so at their own peril.
And if they do, so bloody what?
Open your eyes.
Action!
Best episode ever.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Welcome to the incredible, magical Temple of a Fair.
I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. Hold my hand, and I'll take you there.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
Finally, tonight, communities across Ohio are gearing up for April 8th's historic total solar eclipse. And to help, Tourism Ohio has a new map showcasing events ahead of the eclipse.
This is the first time since 1806 that a total solar eclipse has cut through the state. And the interactive map locates the best places to observe the eclipse, along with a list of viewing parties, festivals, museums, and other events celebrating the once-in-a-lifetime eclipse. Now, to plan your eclipse viewing adventure, you can head over to ohio.org. Now, the eclipse, it's coming up in a little bit. We got a couple weeks, but this weekend we have the Super Bowl.
Big one.
So
yeah.
what are you guys thinking? Who do you have in these two teams?
Well, I personally don't really pay attention to either team. I'm just looking at the weather for the weekend. But how about you guys? What are you looking at?
I think, so last year I was on the desk for the Super Bowl and we went 0 for 4. We all picked the Eagles and it was the Chiefs. I'm going to go against the Chiefs again. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to lead them to a win.
I'm with you. I think Brock Purdy, I like the underdog story.
Well, good luck. I hope that goes well for both
How's
of
the
you.
weather
In the
gonna be,
meantime, exactly. Yeah, let's take a look at what's going on this weekend for you and if it'll be great weather to watch the Super Bowl, because I always love a cloudy day for football. But in the meantime, tonight we will definitely be seeing those clouds start to roll in. It'll be a low of 51, so definitely warmer than normal, especially for this time of the year. And we're looking at a 50% chance of showers moving forward. Now tomorrow we'll continue to see those clouds and a 90% chance of showers really in the morning hours from about 7 a.m. till about 10 a.m. with a high of 62 degrees. But as that cold front continues to move in, we're going to see the overnight low start to dip down into the 30s. And Sunday, those clouds are still going to dip in. Even a little bit of rain might be inching in as that low pressure system continues to make its way towards the northeast into Ohio as well as the New England area. And a quick look at what's going on this week. So definitely different from this week. Weather will not be as nice to sit outside and enjoy. But for Sunday, we're going to see some clouds. Temperatures will be semi-warm, but still nice enough to sit inside and watch the Super Bowl and enjoy all of those Super Bowl snacks that we all know and love.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks so much for watching. For Donovan Vardy and Emily Dietz, I'm Ethan Sargent.
And I'm Alex and Wally. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news at any time at WOUB.org. Have a great weekend.
Support comes from Goldsberry Wealth Strategies in Athens and Parkersburg, focusing on helping people achieve a life well lived with a custom strategy. Information at goldsberrywealth.com. Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA, SIPC. Support comes from Explore Hocking Hills, welcoming guests to the Hocking Hills